Okay, so here's part 2 of the A&P1 Lab 1 video sequence. And this is just going to be a short description of the abdominal quadrant system. And remember that we need the abdominal quadrant system because it's very important for diagnosis. You can see just looking at the abdominal pelvic cavity how many organs are packed into this small space. So in order to help with diagnostic process, you just want to subdivide the contents of the abdomen into 4 roughly equal sections. Now, someone in lecture asked me what the dividing line was going to be, of where exactly you put the horizontal line of the plus that you can see here, this line. And they asked if the navel was the place where you wanted to put that. Okay? That's a pretty good location to think about. Really what you're thinking about is somewhere kind of halfway between the xiphoid process, which would be about right here at the top of the tape, and the pubic symphysis, which would be here where my other hand is. And that's where your 2 hip bones meet anteriorly. Okay, so we've got it at about the right spot. It might be a little bit off here. Okay, so we're dividing our abdominal contents up into 4 areas, and so we have to designate them appropriately. And remember that with your designation, you're always choosing the terms that refer to the patient's body, not to your subjective perspective. Okay, so we have 2 sets of terms we're going to use, right and left. And again, it's the patient's right and left, and that's going to be the first part of the quadrant's name. And then the second part of the quadrant's name is whether it's an upper quadrant or a lower quadrant. Okay, so if we're looking at this location here and a patient is coming in and they're holding this area and saying, oh, it hurts down here, you would write down they have pain in their left, since this is the patient's, right, since this is the patient's right. See, I even did it myself. The patient's right, and it's their lower quadrant, so you would say it is their right lower quadrant, or their RLQ. Okay, this would be the right upper quadrant, the left lower quadrant over here, and the left upper quadrant. Okay, so you're always, again, going from the patient's perspective, and once you have that kind of isolated, if the person is then coming in after you to take care of this patient and they see, oh, the pain is in the right lower quadrant, then they know that's where they just focus in on, and they're thinking, could be the appendix, it could be this part of the large intestine, it could be part of the small intestine. They're no longer thinking stomach, liver, gallbladder, any of those other organs that are in other locations.